Hello everybody, Intuition here. Thank you as always for making time and space for us. Today we would like to discuss how to get in touch with your intuition. What kind of universal principality would we be representing that of intuition if we weren't telling you how the hell to get in touch with your own intuition? We certainly would not want you sitting and depending on us. It's time for you to get going on your journey, remembering all that you are. And some of that means remembering some of what it is that we inherently have to provide you that already exists within your own knowing and structure of self. So then therefore, how do you get in touch with your inherent intuition, with your inherent knowing of the self? But before we go into that, it is important to underline, define what it is that intuition means. And intuition does not mean logic per se. It is not based in a statistic. It is not something usually that you can verify until after the fact. So it is important to really understand what it is that intuition is. Intuition, how we understand it, as we are the universal principality that is intuition, is going into something. You are into it. Literally, into it. So therefore, because you're going into it, you're able to intuit what it is that that thing that you just went into is about. So usually that's not based in a logical statistic, that's not based in an awareness sometimes that another individual even knows. So sometimes what it is that you intuit is not going to be easily definable by another individual. You might be in awareness of what it is that that individual object is not even an awareness of within themselves, because you are able to go into something that they inherently haven't gone into yet. That is within their energetic structure, which is in their conscious or subconscious mind that has not yet been unleashed within themselves, that then therefore they would have an adequate awareness of to verify if you're in the right realm of it being right or wrong. So the idea is, when you intuit something, you won't always get the validation that you are right. And if you are trying to intuit something in the idea that you can be more verifiable in your right and wrong, and then you are barking up the wrong tree and using the wrong skill set in order to acquire that information that you're trying to understand. That is a skill set better suited for the universal principality that is intellectualization. They are able to gather the information in which that you are seeking in a more verifiable, statistical, proven methodology than intuition could be at this point in time. Because again, intellectualization is the study, so to speak, of something, and then therefore they could make an analysis that is coherent with a projection of what something could be. That's usually based in logic. However, intuition is based in you literally going into something. You feeling the energy within a room. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, where you could walk into a room and you could feel the energy of somebody else. You were fine before you were in that room, but then you walked into that room and then maybe you felt sad or angry or elated. And that is something that you are intuiting, because you are going into that room and your cosmic, energetic body, your intuition is able to move into that space a little bit more than your physical body can. And when it comes back to you, it recalls what it is that it just felt in that room. So usually, unless you ask somebody, hey, are you feeling pissed off? The person might not even know that they're feeling pissed off, because they're thinking about a million other things and they're not even in awareness of their feelings or what it is that they're emitting. So they might not tell you. No, why would you say I'm pissed off? That's crazy that you think I'm pissed off. I'm the happiest person alive right now. So intuition is not usually, not always, something that can be verified. It is usually more hindsight 2020, in which you get that validation that you might have been looking for, should that have been the avenue that you were looking to come across. And that is why many of us intuit something, but because nobody is validating what it is that we're intuiting, think that we're not doing it. Because many of us are doing it all the time. Many of us are very much rooted in what it is that we are going into, but because again, many of us don't know what the hell is going on for us most of the time. If we ask somebody to verify what it is that we're understanding or coming into an understanding of, they won't be able to verify it for us because they don't know themselves what the hell is going on. So many of us are always intuiting, and you don't have to really do anything other than be in awareness of what it is that is or is not yours. So again, if you go into a room and before you went into that room, you were feeling fine, and then as you leave that room or move into a different space, you're feeling a chaotic sort of energy out of nowhere, and you didn't receive a call from your mom, or your child wasn't crazy and neurotic, then therefore making your energy crazy and neurotic. If there was nothing, no causation for you to move into a space in which you don't readily identify, that you'd then therefore be feeling a feeling, then you are probably intuiting somebody else's feelings. You're probably in touch with something that somebody else left there. And that is not just energy, that could be anything. That could be thought patterns that are left around in the room. If you are talking to somebody and sometimes maybe you get a thought, a glimmer, an image of something that you weren't thinking of that just simply pops into your mind, and you say, well, isn't that weird? I was just cutting the strawberries and all of a sudden I had a picture of a bouncy house. Well, it's probably not your image and you're probably not going crazy. It's probably your kid in the other room hoping that you go to a bouncy house tomorrow. And you're picking up intuitively what it is that's going on because an aspect of you is moving into their space intuitively, checking up on them and seeing what the hell they're doing. Maybe it's too quiet in their room and you don't want to break away from the strawberries, so then therefore you send your energy, so to speak, to check up on them. So we're all doing it all the time. We're just not super aware of what it is that we're doing. And in order to strengthen that, you have to realize and recognize, again, when you do it, and just to take it as is. Know that you're getting whatever that you're receiving intuitively. There's a reason for it. You're not going crazy. And you don't need to validate it either, but you receive it, you're open to receiving it. And the more that you do that, the more that you strengthen that skill set, the more that you strengthen that intuitive ability that you inherently have. And that enables you to then be able to direct it in a more focused way, other than you just subconsciously doing it when there is a need to protect yourself. That is usually when we use our intuition. The idea that there is something scary around the corner, so I'm going to force my energy outside of myself in a certain particular way that then therefore allows me to intuitively go into something to see if that scary thing is really there or if that is just a projection of fear that is not based in reality but based in the personality construct. So we all use intuition all the time, but again, we usually use it in the constructs of a fear. We use it in the constructs of trying to keep ourselves safe, and that is usually when we get in touch with it. But if you could do it then you could do it any day, all day. You just have to change the reason and rationality that you would be getting in touch with it to begin with. But the more that you do it, the more that you do it not based in fear, but when you walk into a room and you realize, oh wow, that's not mine. Or, oh yes, I wasn't dreaming of a bouncy house. I'm a 50-year-old man and that's the last thing that I have on my mind. Then know that that's not coming from you and you're not going crazy. That's certainly coming from something. Nothing happens for no reason. And so then therefore, if it's not you, then who the hell is it? It's not the ghosts. It's probably your grandchild or your child or your sibling or your significant other or whoever the hell it is. But again, it's not you. And then therefore, it's something that you should probably pay attention to if something is popping up into your consciousness that isn't yours. So, if it's not yours, how did it get there? My intuition. Fantastic. That means that my superpowers are on, so to speak. And so then therefore, how can I engage that in a more focused, more attentive, more direct way, as opposed to it just popping out of nowhere? So if you want to get in touch with your intuition, know that A, you're already always in touch with it. You're using it more than likely when you were in a space, in a state of trying to keep yourself safe. But if you want to use it outside of those spaces, realize when you get those flashes, those glimmers, those intuitive knowings without you needing to keep yourself safe. Acknowledge those moments as that builds up your conscious awareness of that pathway that you inherently always have available to you. But again, if you don't use it, you lose it. Just like if you don't use your arm for a very long time, that neural pathway gets a little weaker than if you use it every day. That strength in that arm starts to dissipate and fade until you can't really use it anymore. And that's the same with intuition. But the more you acknowledge that pathway, the more you see it and say, ah, yes, I see. Yes, I got that glimmer, that understanding. No, that is not me. How fascinating that is. That acknowledgement is more than enough to start moving in the right direction. As well as you could do it within yourself with the things that you think that you don't know. Our formula that we use, that Brilliant uses all the time, is the simple intuitive principle that if you have a question, then you already have the answer. So then therefore you could start your intuition with that in a very simple way. If you could ask the question, then you are already in awareness of what it is, that it is, the answer could be. But just because we like to rush around like chickens with our heads cut off, we don't wait long enough to intuitively understand where that answer is, because it is somewhere inside of us, but we just have to wait a second and intuitively figure out where it is. So, if you have a question, then literally you say to yourself, either out loud, and this is important, you say to yourself, if I have the question and I already have the answer, because that is the formula, that is literally the time it takes for you to get the answer. So that's why you must say that to yourself. If I have the question, I already have the answer. And by the time you're finished saying that either to yourself or out loud, then you will have a selection of different answers. But just because you have a selection of answers doesn't mean that you don't have the right answer. It simply means that you have options. And one of those options are in the most alignment with what it is that you're going to do, that's geared more in alignment with your truest sense of self. So, if you're wanting to get in touch with your intuition, easy breezy cup girl, you're already doing it. How fantastic and exciting is that? When you are feeling not safe, you are always getting glimmers here and there, even outside of the realms of trying to keep yourself safe. But if you really want to try it out in your everyday life, then again, if you have a question come up and you're like, I wonder what it is. It's eating away at me. What do I want to eat today? Do I want this dress or that dress? Do I want these nice pants or that nice pants over there? Do I want to go on a date with that person or this person? Then all you have to do, again, is ask yourself, well, if I could ask the question, then I already have the answer. And then therefore, you wait a moment, you see where it is that your intuition has guided you, and then therefore have a selection of answers to best accommodate the situation that it is that you would like to move into. So that is how we understand the universal principality that we represent, that is intuition. That is how we use our understanding of self to guide us in our power, so to speak. We hope that it is useful to you, and should it not be useful to you, then I'm sure intuitively you'll figure out a different way that works much better for the universal principality that you are. As always, we thank you for giving us time and space, and we wish you well, finding that intuitive principality that already exists within inside of you, that you have access to at any time you wish.